Hey everybody, welcome to Veterans IRL. This is our carry-on portion where I sit down and I have a chat with veterans that got out of the military and they moved on to do bigger and better things in their lives. Today I have the world famous, world-renowned, best medic on the face of the earth, uh, Marcus Pieper.
Thank you.
So how's it going, buddy?
Yeah, it's going, man. I'm actually doing a lot better, and continue to be. The more we talk, the better I am.
Ah, man. So, so for the cats watching who don't know you, tell me who are you?
Well, my name is Marcus Pieper. I served with you in Alaska, the 501st. I
Yeah.
was a parachute infantry combat medic, so served right alongside you guys, doing all kinds of crazy stuff.
Yeah, no shit. Some good memories there. Where are you at right now, man?
Well, I live in Hayward, which is in the East Bay, San Francisco. So in that
Gnarly.
area.
Okay.
Yeah, in California.
Man,
Yeah.
just living the dream in the
Ohio originally.
from Ohio. Yeah, that's right, Ohio, and the Valley, right? That's what you called it.
Yep.
The
Yep.
medieval
That's what,
Game of
yeah,
Thrones.
different kind of people back there. Yeah. Yeah. Good old country folk.
Yeah, good.
So, when I got out of the army, out of there, we travel nursed, and that's what brought us out here. And we like it. We like it a
I
lot.
bet, man. California sunshine, that good weather. I mean, that's gotta be good for you.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, how long were you in the army? And you already identified your job, but how long were you in, and what kind of shit were you expected to do?
Yeah, I was in 7 years. I ended up serving because of the medical process at the end. But I was expected to be a platoon medic for my first deployment, and my second deployment to Iraq during OND, during the shutdown and withdrawal from there. I served as the NCOIC night shift leader of a clinic on FOB Freedom.
Okay.
So expected to do all kinds of things there related to medical treatment and the logistical side as well.
Okay.
So
Gnarly. So, so you went on two deployments, right?
yep, that's correct. Yeah, I served with the 501st. That was my first deployment with you guys out of Alaska to Afghanistan in 2009, and during that deployment that was my combat experience. That was my combat deployment. Got to see a lot of trauma, a lot of combat-related trauma, a lot of IED blast injuries, a lot of things I'm really proud of. One of those instances, saving that life of that man that nearly lost his leg. And
Yeah, I remember that.
yeah, proud moments. So I definitely think that my job has played a role in me getting better, because I don't deal with the whole the killing as much. I wasn't preoccupied as much with that aspect.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I do remember you did get in some shit on the first deployment. You
I did. Well, I'm not going to say we didn't do my job in combat, but that wasn't my job description. Was
Yeah.
Go kill motherfuckers?
Yeah.
It was do that and save lives, and I was a stellar saver of lives.
Yes.
Maybe
Yes,
not
you were.
a killer, although
Hey, there's
the word for that.
let me just put it like this. There are a few medics that I would want in my truck, and we have a 50 cal on the truck. And I'll just leave it at that. But you're definitely, I want you in my truck with the 50 cal. So what about the
I disagree with you.
what's that?
Geneva Conventions might disagree with you.
Hey man,
Weapon,
some weirdos in Europe came up with some stupid ass rules, but whatever.
Yeah, but anyway, combat, man, it's a rush.
Yeah, no shit. So that was Afghanistan. What'd you do in Iraq?
Iraq was a lot more slow paced, but I would say that the difficulties I faced there were equal, if not more so. While there, we served during the last few months. It was from July to December of I think 2011 was when we pulled out, and we just basically oversaw the logistical withdrawal of all the medical supplies and everything, and that was what our company was there for. I was a treatment team leader as a sergeant over there, and I was able to be the night shift NCOIC running the aid station, the only and last aid station on FOB Freedom.
Okay.
And so we were servicing the 1st Infantry Division as they were beginning to pull out of the greater Baghdad Air Base.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So they call that what, BIOP, Baghdad International Airport or something?
Right.
Okay.
Right. It's been a little while, so yeah, BIOP. And as we were witnessing their withdrawal and supporting that, we were witness to a lot of suicides. Is what I had to deal with. Being the night shift NCOIC, they had to verify medically, that declare the deceased and to take care of that and contact mortuary affairs and everything. So it was a very stressful time in the military there.
Yeah, I believe that. Like, I've been fortunate enough that I only had to deal with one dead, American, and that was, the opposite end of the spectrum from suicides and stuff. So I can't even grasp, what it must be like for you to have to be, the first medical professional on the scene, and having to get hands on and, and deal with that, at face value,
Yeah, it was stressful, and that's basically what ended up leading to my medical problems, which you're very well aware, but I guess your viewers wouldn't be. So I was diagnosed with shingles shortly after my first deployment, December of 2010, I think it was 2010 or 11. After we had gotten back, I was diagnosed with shingles, which is herpes zoster, and like chicken pox.
Yeah.
And it broke out on my upper right trunk, on my T6, T5 and 6. And it runs from the middle of my back all the way to the nipple line here on the front of my chest. And it's a red rash, blistering rash that is uncontrollably painful. So they told me that it was because of the lowered immune system, because of the stress, and possibly the exposure to foreign chemicals in Afghanistan and those burn pits. But
yeah, which there was no shortage of fucking shit over there to be exposed to.
Yeah, of dangerous particles in the air.
Ugh.
It would be lead.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So I was diagnosed with shingles and basically had to deal with the pain of that, and that's when I left the airborne, because I couldn't perform my airborne duties with an outbreak like that. So I was transferred to the 36th Med at Fort Bragg, and that's where I deployed to Iraq, and we were keeping it under control for the most part. But about halfway through my deployment, 3 weeks before we were scheduled to leave, I had to be medically flown back because I had a painful outbreak of the shingles again.
Now, so with the shingles, it's not just a like surface kind of physical pain; it's nerve pain as well, right?
Yes, that's correct. It's in fact, that's most of the pain is where it comes from, is the nerves. The disease, when you're a child, you have chicken pox, and your body fights it off, and the immune system chases it into a nerve branch in a random part of your body, and there it lays dormant until your immune system weakens enough that it breaks out, usually in old age or coinciding with another illness.
Okay.
But in my case, it was the stress environment and the possible exposure to air particles. So
And bacterias and poop in the air.
yeah, definitely something rare. Nobody should be running around if they're under 30 worrying about getting shingles.
Yeah.
But it was very painful, and it ended up putting me out of the military. I was unable to perform my military duties, and so they medically retired me because of that.
Okay. And you got did you get the full medical retirement and everything?
I got the Deers card and everything, but I'm not rated at 100% now.
Okay.
So it's just shingles. It's not. I still have all my arms and legs, and I'm very honored to have served and glad to have
all your digits. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So so you got out, and aside from the shingles, was there anything else that you were kind of dealing with or struggling with when you got out?
Right. The stress, and that was in the form of post-traumatic stress disorder, which was what I was diagnosed with on getting out. So that's definitely been the mental part, and the shingles is the physical part of the problem. Yeah.
So fucking double whammy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I want to say that having a wife that's a nurse and having the VA's been treating me very well. So I think that I'm a special case. I think that I've got a lot of things going for me. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with being the special case, especially in that scenario. But what kind of as related to the PTSD, like what kind of things were you dealing with? What kind of symptoms or side effects were you feeling when you first got out?
Well, the aimlessness and purposelessness were probably the first things that hit me. Being sick and being unable to take care of myself in a lot of ways. Being in pain is a very debilitating thing.
Yeah.
So the feeling of being worthless and now not being able to serve my country like I had been doing, going from being so high speed, being a Girona bro to being, a civilian with shingles who can, barely walk, the meds caused a serious weight gain. So there was that aspect as well. And the shingles made it difficult to work out because you can't breathe. But you have to find purpose. Like in your last video, I like that you said purpose, because that was the first thing that left me when I got out of the military, was my sense of purpose.
Yeah.
And that was probably one of the hardest things. You turn to drinking, and then the drinking makes the PTSD a lot worse, and you're unable to handle it. You're unable to express clearly what's going on, and so fortunately, I've been able to get rid of the alcohol and recognize it as a trigger. But I realize it's not a trigger for everyone, but it can be, and it's served me well to get rid of it,
Okay. Now, as for the the loss of purpose, what was it that you found purpose in? What was it that kind of became your driving motivation?
Reason. Yeah. Well, I have, as I said, that special case. I'm married to a beautiful, wonderful woman, Elizabeth Pieper. She's a nurse, an RN, and as soon as we got out of the military, we owned a home in North Carolina, and we were wondering, are we going to stay here? Are we going to move back to Ohio, where we're both from? Are we going to what are we going to do? And she had always expressed an interest in travel nursing, which is a very adventurous and wonderful opportunity. And she got an email from a recruiter and asked me, Marcus, are you willing to be able to travel the world with me and travel at least America?
Yeah.
And see some wonderful things and in the process heal. So we we sold the house. We bought an RV, and we traveled from there to Texas, and from there all across America, and got to see a lot and got to do a lot of things. So my purpose was in my wife and in my relationships. That's where I would say my purpose was.
Okay.
Because when I got out, purpose can be almost anything. And
Yeah.
for me, it was to repair and to shore up the relationships that I had maybe let degrade while serving in the military because of the long distance and everything. And now that I was out, I had a lot of free time to make phone calls and to visit people, and that's what I took advantage of, was trying to take my family, take time to see my family and to visit with them, and really build a relationship with my wife while we traveled. And that's something I'm very honored and very glad to have had.
See, and that's great, man. Like that's, I love that you know, we sometimes get out and we think like, okay, we go from having this purpose of like, I'm fighting for my country, I'm serving, a higher purpose, and we forget that, a purpose doesn't have to be this grandiose, thing. The simplest things that you may not readily recognize can be the greatest purpose and motivator for you, and you finding your purpose in your family and loved ones is, it's not only easy to identify, but it's also probably the most worthwhile endeavor you can take on,
Thank you. I agree. But I think it's also one of the more difficult, because the military doesn't make you, or doesn't prepare you necessarily to be the best communicator.
Yeah.
We get the message, over the radio. We get the message, and we're good and clear over that when it comes to mission objectives and things. But that doesn't translate into a good conversation at dinner.
Yeah.
So it's been a learning curve, learning to communicate in a way that properly expresses myself, and but it's definitely been beneficial.
Yeah.
Definitely been beneficial.
Yeah, very much. Okay. Well, so in that realm that, your, I guess we'll call it your transition and recovery stage, what kind of medical treatments did you start out with? And, where are you at right now with your medical treatment?
Right. Well, considering the problems I had while I was in the military, being treated for the stress, for the post-traumatic stress, and for the myriad of airborne injuries, I was treated with and the shingles. The opiates were the largest prescription. I think I was on 90 milligrams of morphine at one
God
time.
damn.
Yeah. Well, the pain, I can't describe the pain. That's a nerve pain, and it
Yeah.
just courses through your whole body. And it was so bad that I had lesions on the inside, and they would cause me to cough up blood, and it was incredibly painful. So the medicine was a heavy dose, but very needed, very necessary at that time while serving in the military. It then transitioned from the 90 milligrams of that and then some antidepressants. My transition into the VA was very hard, very difficult, because they don't like prescribing opiates like that. When my VA doctor saw that amount of opiates on my prescription list, she reasonably freaked out, and so I had a hard landing on that. I had a cold turkey quit after going from the military active duty to the VA. That was very hard. That was very difficult.
Yeah, I imagine.
Experienced the withdrawals from opiates, but they're very painful and they're very uncomfortable. So at that time, I had been researching about alternative medication and alternative means of pain management, because pain being my largest problem. I had stumbled across some research done out in, I think it's in Israel, up in Amsterdam, that said that it had seen some positive reactions from the use of THC as a pain reliever.
Okay.
And so marijuana entered my lexicon of treatment prescriptions.
Okay.
So yes, and starting in North Carolina, I transitioned from the heavy, massive doses of opiates to a much more moderate dose of a herb. So that's how I look at it.
Hell yeah. So, and
I
then,
know it's controversial, but that's
uh,
how.
yeah, yeah, but so, going from, I mean, I think you told me at one point that you were on like 9 different prescriptions of meds or something. You said you were on a ton, and transition from that to using marijuana and other cannabis products. I mean, how do they compare? Is one better than the other? I mean,
It was night and day, at least for my problem. The opiates would what I call stupefy me. They would put me uh, in a mind. They would put me out of mind. Basically, they would really take away the lucidity and make you very
zombie-like.
zombie, very zombie. And the marijuana was it affected your thinking at first. Your speech was slightly disjointed maybe, and your thoughts would ramble a little bit. But I've noticed that through the longer I use, the less those side effects are a problem.
Okay.
At first, the difference was going from the opiates and the diet, having constipation that comes from those. I know an uncomfortable
Yeah.
subject, but a hard truth.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, the constipation and the immobility, the lack of exercise. You can't even get up and walk around when you're that doped up. And so when I would eat one of my edibles, I would be, it affected you. It definitely altered your state of mind, but not to a point that you couldn't function. I could go out and mow the yard. I could go out and get the mail and walk the dog. Basic things that I wasn't able to do on the opiates that would just zombify you.
So your cognitive response was better than the opioids and the opiates, but what about the pain? Did it neutralize your pain more than the opiates did, or less?
Far more, far more. In fact, I was able to achieve zero pain. And when I say that, I mean the sensation of pain. Because when you're on opiates, you still can feel the sensation. It's usually a tingling or a numb feeling.
Yeah.
But you're still aware of where you're hurt. And you're still aware of the nerves that are sending the signals. But you're too stupefied and too doped up to really respond to it. So the cannabinoids that I would ingest, because of the nature of my injury being a nerve-based pain, neuralgia, it specifically targeted the triggers in your brain and stopped them from releasing their signals and really calmed them down, quieted them, and because of the effect they had on the nerves, on the pain killing and on the nerves, I'm actually been able to be pain free now.
Wow.
For over 2 years. So it has gone from more than treating the pain to actually treating the problem, which is the neuralgia, that nerves have been overstimulated for too long and they can no longer be quieted, and so that the THC basically allowed my body to quiet those specific nerve cells and nerve ganglia from signaling me. So
wow,
it's been healing on two edges, and I can definitely testify that it is far better than the alternative that I was receiving from the
military. It sounds like it. Okay, so when it comes to like the physical ailments and stuff, obviously the cannabinoids has done much better than the opioids. But what about any of the PTSD and anxiety issues and stuff? You said you were on antidepressants. Now, like,
Mhm.
are you still using antidepressants, or did you transfer from the antidepressants to just using the cannabinoid products, or I mean, how did that go?
Mhm. Um, because it is a plant, and that's where we receive the cannabinoids are from the plant. The chemicals that it produces are so vast. There's so many different chemicals in it, so that it's hard to pick out one or two. And I've noticed that definitely a few of the chemicals in the plant can make the anxiety a little worse. They can trigger
Okay.
some of the paranoia. They can help uh, trigger hallucinations or I've noticed bad thoughts, and you tend to dwell on things when you're under the influence. So um, it depends a lot on your body's chemistry, a lot on the chemicals in the actual plant that you're actually taking. Uh, so I would say that in my case, it has helped at least in the anxiety. I'm not taking any strong barbiturates or anti-anxiety medications. So I'm uh, definitely being helped in that area. But as far as the depression and the just the lack of motivation and the sense of purpose, I feel like that is outside of the realm of marijuana as a medicine. So
Okay.
it's not for everything, but it definitely helps with anxiety um, in some cases. Yeah.
Okay. So are you still using an antidepressant now, along with the cannabinoids?
I'm still on antidepressants, correct. And my doctor is aware of because of California where I live, the doctors are very well educated on the interactions. And so I'm on medication that is safe to use, and I continue to do it. Yeah.
Okay.
So I am on antidepressants, but I'm not on any painkillers. And that is, and my bottom line, that's the good thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So, especially with, I mean, the rampant outbreak of overdoses now and addiction problems with the opioids and
Yes.
opiates. So,
Yes.
okay.
Absolutely. Ohio, where I'm from, is especially hit with the epidemic of
Yeah, I've been hearing about that.
opiate abuse. It is.
So, okay. So, and I can testify too, just from, you and I, that, I remember that you were in a much worse place when you first got out and you were having all those prescriptions and all the painkillers and stuff. I mean, like I remember, you were fucking Obi-Wan Kenobi, man. You were a hermit hiding out in the middle of fucking nowhere, not speaking to anybody, and when you
Still
when
a little of that.
nah, I mean not nearly as bad, but like
Thank
when
you.
you came to see me in Alaska, what was that, a year or two ago? I think
Yes.
2015. Yeah,
Year and a half ago.
yeah, when you came to see me, man, like it was a drastic improvement, man. Like you looked so healthy, you looked so much better, and
Yes.
you know, and that's when you first told me, like, hey, man, I'm in California, I've been using the cannabinoids, and you know
Yeah.
it's amazing, and just being a third party outside witness, I definitely think that it's amazing, and
Yeah.
the rest of the states in the United States should stop screwing around and maybe look into using this as treatment.
At least there's some research,
Yeah,
I say, because there's if even the off chance that it helps a few people, I feel that it's worth investigating. Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. All right, well, let me hit you with a couple zingers as we wrap this
Sure.
up. But so what was your most memorable, good and bad moment from your time in service?
Well, being a medic, I would say that my best moment was saving that man's life in Afghanistan.
Yeah,
Um, he was the classic Black Hawk Down femoral artery bleed,
yeah,
and I was able to stop the bleeding and give fluids and treat him and get him on a bird. I kept him for 45 minutes. And I kept him alive and put him on that bird and got him back to Orkney where he was treated. And I actually saw him 3 or 4 months later. They brought him in, and he came into the COP or the FOB to visit us, and came into the aid station. So that was a very, very memorable moment.
Which, by the way, like Marcus is being kind of like humble about it, but like that dude was fucked up. Like I mean, the simple fact that Marcus kept him alive is a fucking miracle. I mean, didn't you have to run an IV through his fucking neck because you couldn't, that guy had lost so much blood that there was nowhere else you could fucking stick him?
Yep.
Yeah, this dude,
Yep.
like,
he was one of my prouder moments. I got a couple compliments from the surgeon, and that was good enough for me to know I knew my job and I did it well.
Hell yeah.
So that was definitely the high point.
Yeah. So.
And then I say the low point would probably be, combat was tough and everything, and I really wouldn't want to hike those mountains again.
Oh God. Yeah. Oh.
I tell you, Iraq was probably the worst when just being faced with the reality that not everyone dealt with the stress the same way. And just being face to face with the consequences of it was very startling to me in Iraq. So witnessing those soldiers being carted away and realizing that there goes me, if I had made a better or worse decision, that could have been me. So that was what shook me up, I think, the most.
Yeah, and then I don't doubt it. I mean that.
Yeah, and then to now see it on the news that that we're losing some of these cities and that even Mosul's still in enemy hands. It just makes you really think about the value of life and what we need to do to preserve it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, man, I gotta say, like, I don't envy you, but like, I mean, you're definitely cut of a different cloth than I am, just because, I mean, how many suicides did you have to deal with?
There were 3 that I personally had to witness, and countless others that took place on the FOB.
Yeah. See,
I don't know the statistics, but if you looked it up, it would be depressing.
Yeah.
Liberty's suicide statistics just in that 6 months that we were there.
Well, now that I mean, the public is starting to pay a little more attention to the whole veteran suicide thing. Hopefully we actually start fixing it, and working on it.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Absolutely, good men. They don't need to die like that. They need to be helped, I feel.
Yeah. Need to get reintroduced to the beautiful things in life. So.
Exactly.
But
that's what I hope to bring. I tell you, the traveling across the country with my wife afterwards has been one of the most rewarding experiences I've ever had. Getting to drive through New Mexico and then right along the border and see those beautiful Rocky Mountains.
Yeah.
Through California, and it was just quite a trip, and I would do it all over again.
Hell yeah, man.
So I suggest to anybody out there, if they want to reconnect, to the country, definitely just travel it and see it.
Yeah. Well, shit. You got visitors. maybe pizza. But so aside from that, man, what are your plans for the future, man? What is Marcus Pieper doing right now, and what is he going to be doing tomorrow?
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to college now that we've gotten settled down here in California. Applied to Cal State over here in East Bay, and I hopefully start classes this next semester. So
Hell
I'm
yeah.
excited about that, and I'm going to be studying environmental sciences. I want to uh, get away from the medical field. I feel like I've had enough of the blood and
Yeah.
guts, so
Little
I want to
you're a little over it.
with the animals. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like I want to get into water purification. That seems to be the big talk out here in California, how to make money. So
Well, I mean,
maybe I'll
especially considering California sucks on finding water.
water. Yeah,
So,
yeah. So those are my plans, But yeah, staying strong and keep
yeah.
watching your videos and do some
Ah,
workouts.
man. Yeah, yeah. But so what is in closing, for the guys who watch this, what is, what's the best piece of advice you can give to anybody that's, just gotten out or, is getting ready to get out?
I would have to say the best advice. That's a tough question.
I
The
know,
best
I
advice
know.
would
Well, so what do you wish somebody had told you when you were getting out?
yeah. Trust your gut. Trust your gut, and at the end of the day, you're the one that has to sleep with yourself. So don't do anything that you won't be able to go to sleep at night with. Keep yourself. I don't know how we can say that. Maybe keep honest to yourself. There you go.
Okay, stay true to yourself, and
Stay true to yourself.
yeah, and I'll add to that. Take care of yourself because you know it's it's tough getting out, man. I've noticed like you know you start to let things go, and you're like, oh shit, got to start eating better, and
Yeah.
take care
Yeah.
of myself. All right, man. Well, uh, I appreciate you talking to me, man. It's always a pleasure. I wish you could have been here and face to face, but which is what this was supposed to be. But you had an unfortunate accident at the airport, and you had to go home. But I'm glad you came on here, and I hope that everybody who watches this, can learn something. So
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Logan. It's been an honor, and I'm very happy to be here, and I hope I help.
yeah, no, you definitely did. And for those of you watching, make sure you like, subscribe, and share, and please comment. Like if you got questions, ask them. If you got questions for Marcus here, I'm sure we'll do like a follow up thing, and you can answer those questions. But let us know what you think. Marcus is a very smart dude. And if you got questions about the marijuana and the cannabis or even the different treatments and stuff, ask him because he's one of the smartest men I know. But other than that, thank you guys for watching. As I say, I love you all and I hate you all. Marcus, he's a big teddy bear. He loves everybody. But you know, shit'll. And I know one or two that are on your bad list. But remember, shit'll buff out. It always will. And get off your asses and go do some work. Go lift. So, but yeah, we'll check you all later. Oh shit.